Hello, welcome to Lunch with Lee. Today we are talking about dryer vents because it's Thursday, and more specifically, how are dryer vents supposed to be cleaned? And now there's a lot of ways to clean a dryer vent, but what I'm talking about today is how do we clean it? And I can tell you why we clean it the way we do, because we spent 20 years perfecting getting all the equipment right so that we can get the best performance and the best documentation for after we clean it. Is it working to specs? Is it working okay? The first thing we do is we have a gauge called a magnehelic gauge. It is a gauge that measures pressure. We put that into like a little probe into the vent. That's a connector that goes from the dryer to the wall. We put that probe in there and we measure how hard your dryer is having to work to get air to the outside. Now, there's certain specs that are from the dryer manufacturers and from our industry on how that's supposed to be working, how hard a dryer needs to blow to get stuff to the outside. Once we figure out at that point, we document what it is. If it's perfect, we go to the outside and we see how much airflow is on the outside. And there's a vanometer that we put on the outside that spins, that we measure air speed on the outside. And there's certain specs for that. If both of them are good, the question is do you need it cleaned at all? And occasionally we'll look at people and tell them, no, it's even if we cleaned it perfectly, you're not going to get any better than what it is. If one of the two is not okay, then we get into, is the vent designed correctly? Is there something, is it crushed? Does it have nest? Is it too long? Does it have too many turns? Is it the wrong size? Is it the wrong material? We look at that kind of thing. Once we figured out that the condition of it, then we can go into actual cleaning, which we bring in industry-specific vacuums. Some of them have as many as 3 motors that we hook to the inside, and we put the whole vent under suction. This is different than other companies that put a blower on the inside and blow everything from the inside out, and it makes a huge mess. But what we do is we suck it into a vacuum so it does not make a mess. And then from the outside, we put brushes that spin. They're specific to us. We don't even use one system because there's a lot of professional dryer vent systems, and we've stolen the best out of every system and put it together. And we run spinning brushes from the outside all the way to the inside, and it forces all that lint into the vacuum. And then we disconnect the vacuum, and then we run the same tests we did at the beginning at the end. So we do the magnehelic test for pressure. We see how good it is. If it's still not where it's supposed to be, obviously we're clean now. Then we're to design. There's something's off, and we have to figure that out. Or if we're on the outside and we don't get enough airspeed, it's what's going on. There needs to be. If we're perfectly clean, it's still not working, we're to a different level. So then if everything's working great after we clean it, we document everything so that when we come back, if you call us a year later, 6 months later, 5 years later, we have all this stuff documented so we know what good is for your vent. And so when we check it again, we know what to compare it against. How fast is it getting bad? You can call us in a year and we can tell you, oh, it's getting bad fast, or it's the same and you don't need to have it cleaned again. So that is our process. It is totally mess free. We document everything, every step. We also take pictures of the outside and the inside. So we make sure that everything's up to specs, everything's up to code, and it's going to work for you long term, and you understand exactly what you have. So that's it for today. If you appreciate this, please share it because we're trying to help as many people as possible. Thanks.